Guardiola. Manchester City lead by 2-1. Arsenal still being held at home by Southampton 1-1. Here is Doku into the penalty area. Runs all the way through to the goalkeeper Bernd Leno. Leicester City, Bournemouth, Pat Murphy.
Bournemouth thought they had the equaliser. Cook, free kick, flicked on by Eva Nielsen, but to the delight of the Leicester fans, it's been ruled off for offside. Still Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Tomorrow there's live WSL coverage on BBC 2 from 2 o'clock. Tottenham against Liverpool. As Kovacic, his ball cut out by Kearney for Fulham. Reading are down to 10 men as they trail at Rotherham United by 2-1 in League One. Fulham still hoping to try and salvage something from this game with, well, we're midway through the second half as Smith Rowe, the former Arsenal player, to Tete. Iwobi, another former gunner, and there's now been a goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal have their second. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. Cross from Saka on the right hand side, and there was Martinelli on the back post unmarked to tuck it away. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1.
Arsenal coming from behind. Chesterfield 2, Walsall 2 is the latest score in League 2. That will stop Walsall going top of League 2 with both Gillingham and Notts County trailing the teams above them. As Anderson spreads play out towards Robinson, far side the left. Fulham playing from left to right as we look. And now it is with Lukic, square ball. Tete lays it off. Kearney back to Anderson. England's innings has finished in T20, Women's T20 World Cup match. Commentary on Sports Extra. England posted a score of 118 for 7 from their 20 overs after choosing to bat. Robinson far side the left. Fulham just starting to see a little bit more of the ball, Chris.
Yeah, I think Man City's just dropped off the pace, and Fulham, but they're not hurting them, they're playing in front of them.
Here is Kearney, turns, Lukic outside the centre circle. Bassi forward ball, finds Traore. Robinson was a willing runner on the left touchline. Back it goes to Lukic. Thought he was going to shoot there from a good 35 yards out. Instead, he rolls it out to this near side, the right. This is Iwobi, almost right corner of the penalty area. Kearney then finds Tete, who's actually ahead of Iwobi. Back to Tom Kearney. Smith Rowe links up as well. Keeping it on this right-hand side. Opens up for Kearney. Left-footed ball out towards Robinson, lays it off towards Calvin Bassi, 30 yards out from goal for Fulham in their red and black striped shirts. Manchester City have got everybody back behind the ball, even Haaland as Lukic. Could spell this for Fulham if they can find a little bit of penetration, as Manchester City are keeping them at bay. Iwobi comes in now off the right touchline. The City supporters sense that Fulham are growing in confidence. Lukic threads it, patient play. Robinson left-hand side, enters the penalty area. Robinson, there was no end product. Traore was there. Kovacic will run it clear, and Kovacic will get the ball clear. And then there was a foul on Doku. No, there wasn't.
No.
Play continues. Iwobi now, right-hand side. Tete on the overlap if he needs him. Iwobi holds it up, leaves it now for Tete, right corner of the area. This is Smith Rowe. Wrexham 4, Northampton Town 1 is the latest score in League One. We're going to West Ham in a moment. Iwobi with a cross, cut out by Diaz. Fulham again win it back very, very quickly. And Haaland will give chase. Bassi on the stretch. Let's get news of that goal. Chris Coles at West Ham.
Julian Lopetegui surely on his way to a first Premier League home win as West Ham boss. They lead Ipswich 4-1. Another assist for Jared Bowen, laid on a plate for Lucas Paquetá to tap in. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1.
Good vocal support from the home crowd. Manchester City are leading. Iwobi. Good spell though for Fulham.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have possession in a ground like this where you normally don't get it, you don't normally see the ball, but they're not hurting them, they're not trying to score, and you're getting beat.
That's Chris Waddle with us here today, this afternoon, as Bassi from Lukic. And all of a sudden, Manchester City have forced Fulham back midway through their own half. Anderson tries to switch play, looking for Iwobi, and Iwobi beaten to the ball by Guardiola. Guardiola stretching, forces the ball out of play for a throw. Had to get there too.
I tell you what, there's a lot of City players look tired. I know they play a lot of football.
Well, for the sides competing in Europe, this will be the end. Certainly those in the Champions League and the Europa League, they'll have played 7 games in a 3-week period. And so for some of them, there'll be no respite for those, of course, involved in international duty. As Lukic out to Iwobi, looking for Jimenez, just couldn't take it in his stride away from Walker, running into the inside right channel of the penalty area, through to Edison it goes.
Well, that's what we've got to do. I mean, it's already keeping possession, but you've got to try and create. You're getting beaten so nearly there.
We've got 17 minutes remaining of normal time. Both Arsenal and Manchester City have come from behind, and they both lead by 2-1 in response to Liverpool's 1-0 win at Crystal Palace. Brentford 4, Wolves 2, all 6 goals in the first half. Leicester still leading Bournemouth by 1-0, and West Ham United now cruising 4-1 at home to Ipswich Town. Bernardo Silva back to Kyle Walker.
I think that you need to put in a couple of players on, freshen it up, and they look flat. They look flat. A lot of them look as if, you know, they've done enough. They look leggy, very leggy.
John Stones is getting some instructions, but he's still got his tracksuit bottoms on and his luminous bib, so he's still a couple of minutes away. There's activity on the bench for Fulham. It looks like a triple change is going to be made. I can see Castagna is one of them. Meanwhile, in the Championship, a goal at Vicarage Road. Charlie Slater.
Watford are level with 15 minutes remaining. A brilliant counter-attack down the right-hand side from Andrews, and he found the substitute Kayembe 18 yards out, blasted it home with his left foot. 1-1.
Going to be a triple change for Fulham. Castagna, Muniz, and also Reece Nelson, on loan from Arsenal, are going to be the final alterations made by Marco Silva. We go to Pat Murphy now at Leicester.
Bournemouth getting closer and closer. Just now, Ouattara's headed against the top of the bar. The pressure on. This is a test for Leicester, but they still lead Bournemouth 1-0.
Castagna will replace Kenny Tete at right back. We'll bring you news of the other 2 changes. I mean, as yet, the 3 substitutes are yet to come on the field of play. As Kearney sweeps it out low, left-hand side. This is Robinson getting good ground on that far side of the line. He's crossed by Reece Jimenez. Excellent block by Guardiola. 50-50 challenge. Nelson will come on for Iwobi as Tete passes the ball towards Iwobi. I can't wait to hear the reaction from Marco Silva. Pep Guardiola wants John Stones on the field of play immediately. He's just hurriedly told him after warming up, come on, get ready. You're getting involved in the action.
What a spell Fulham have had, and they had a good spell in the first half. But this last 10 minutes, it's just been, Fulham have just dominated the football.
Raul Jimenez, who got the assist, will be being replaced by Muniz, and as I said, Nelson will come on for Iwobi. They will be the 3 changes for Fulham that are now happening. Whilst they're happening, we can get an update in the Rugby Union. Bath Bristol, Molly Stevens.
Bath 14, Bristol Bears 29. After having 2 tries ruled out for knock-ons in this second half, Bath will be glad to have something for their latest efforts. Will Butt flies over the try line. Phil Russell converts. Bath 14, Bristol Bears 29.
John Stones will be coming on for his England teammate. Phil Foden, his first Premier League start. John Stones hasn't really, I think he's only had 1 Premier League start himself this season, John Stones. He is going to be coming off as he replaces Foden. So there has been a lot of activity. You've not missed any of the action, but with 14 minutes remaining, we will get to that point where we're going to rattle through all the scores in the various divisions. But a latest score from Paisley in the Scottish Premiership is St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1 is a latest score. And indeed, I'll give you the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Now, Dundee down to 10 men, lead Kilmarnock by 1-0. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1 as Foden comes off. The 2 results in League 2, Fleetwood 0, Bromley 0, Grimsby 0, Doncaster Rovers 3. These are the latest scores here on 5 Live. Accrington are on course for their first win. It would lead Morecambe Bottom. They lead 2-0. Barrow 1, Cheltenham 1, Chesterfield 2, Walsall 2. Goalless between Colchester and Carlisle. Crewe 2, the lead is Gillingham 0, MK Dons 1, Tranmere 0. Notts County can't take advantage because the second place side is still trailing at home to Port Vale by 1-0. Salford Wimbledon and Swindon Town Harrogate Town are both goalless. We've got 13 minutes remaining. League One and the Championship scores to come. The two results in League One: Huddersfield beat Barnsley 2-0, Peterborough at London Road beat Stevenage 2-1. Latest scores: Bolton 2, Shrewsbury 2, Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 2. Still lead Burton searching for a first win of the season. Charlton Athletic lead Birmingham City. That would end their unbeaten run, the leaders, who then only be 2 points clear at the top because Wrexham are 4-1 up at home to Northampton. Elsewhere, Exeter lead Cambridge by a goal to nil, bottom of the table and still without a win. Lincoln 1, Leyton Orient 0, Mansfield 2, Blackpool 0, Rotherham 2, Reading 1. Reading down to 10 men. Stockport and Wigan remains goalless. Wickham lead Crawley by a goal to nil. 12 minutes remaining of normal time. Manchester City still lead here by 2-1, as do Arsenal at home to Southampton. The two results in the Championship: Burnley 0, Preston 0. Norwich beat Hull City by 4-0. Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. Latest scores in the Championship: Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Derby County, who'd lost their last 3 in the Championship, lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Plymouth 1-0 up at home to Blackburn Rovers. Sheffield United still unbeaten, going to move level on points with Sunderland. They lead Luton 2-0. Swansea 0, Stoke City 0, Watford 1, Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0, Millwall 0. As Robinson is forward for Fulham, trailing by 2-1. His forward ball finds Traore, left-hand side of the penalty area, as Fulham play from left to right. Plays it back. Smith Rowe to Kearney. Lincoln have now got a second goal at home to Leyton Orient 2-0. Cross comes in from the left, headed out by John Stones. Traore on that far side. Manchester City have really dropped off.
They've come right off the pace. I don't know if it's fatigue or whatever it is. Give Fulham credit. They've been a lot braver. They're keeping the ball away from City, but City do look a bit leggy.
Castagna now gets forward, a bit of room to run into, takes the ball down off the chest, back towards Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe links up with Nelson, now backpedals his way out towards the right touchline, and Lukic will find him in that little area of space, right corner of the box, closed down by Doku. To Lukic once again. Fulham coming forward, back now with Nelson. Once again, you can hear what the response is from the Manchester City supporters inside the Etihad. Let's get an update from Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal lead by 2-1 as Havertz just shoots into the side netting, but Southampton haven't given this one up. Tyler Dibbling, 25-yarder, took a deflection, just kissed the left-hand post from the corner. Harwood Bellis hit the crossbar. Arsenal 2, Southampton 1.
Fulham haven't given this one up either here, to be fair. Seeing a lot of the ball at the moment. Committing men forward. Robinson with a cross from the left, partially cut out. Nunez tries to keep it alive, edge of the area, loses out to Kovacic. Kovacic now with pace, can run forward here for Manchester City. Kovacic over the halfway line, out towards Doku. Doku slows it down, and Fulham have got red and black striped shirts back behind the ball. We've got 10 minutes remaining of normal time. No other goals elsewhere around the country to tell you about. Match of the day tonight, BBC 1, 10:30.
It's going to be a long 10 minutes for Manchester City, because, as I say, they're trying to slow the game down now, keeping the ball, but Fulham's dominated the last 15 minutes, and City just seem to run out of ideas and legs.
Here is Ruben Diaz to Gvardiol. It'd be the fourth different top-flight side to reach 50. That great Liverpool side from 78 to 81, that actually went on 85 games undefeated at home. Chelsea have done it twice, and Sunderland did it back in 1890 and 1893. As Doku comes forward. Doku, edge of the area! My God! That will surely seal the 3 points for Manchester City, and a half-century is up for the champions. 50 games undefeated at home. A blistering effort from Doku with 9 minutes to go, 3-1.
Well, what we've seen today, and there's a lot of people getting areas like that and pass the ball. If you don't shoot, you don't score. It's simple as that. Doku had one thing in his mind there. When he received the ball on his left-hand side, couldn't save, didn't look for Haaland, didn't look at anybody else. Looked at the goal, and wow, what a strike that was.
Movement in the air didn't really give Leno a great deal of hope, did it?
No, I don't. You cannot really question the goalkeeper. Maybe the full-back will let him come inside onto his right foot. But, you know, you're backpedaling. He's got pace, he's got trickery, comes inside, a little jink, and wow, what a strike that is. You don't save that. The ball moves in the air, and nobody saves them.
It was edge of the area, right-footed, and finds the top right-hand corner. It was a venomous strike.
And that gives them breathing space now.
Hibs are down to 10 men as they are drawing 1-1 with Motherwell at Easter Road. And Leyton Orient have got a goal back at Sincil Bank. Lincoln City 2, Leyton Orient 1. Bath Bristol. Molly Stevens in the rugby.
as you come to me, the conversion's just gone over for Bristol Bears. Bath were on the comeback. The wreck is rocking. Finn Russell put his foot on the gas from the halfway line and passed to Ross Maloney to score. But it looks like Bristol Bears have just responded with another try through Gabriel Ogre. And I make it Bath 21, Bristol Bears 36.
I thought you'd gone to walk your dog there for a minute, Molly. And it goes for a goal kick.
Just look at Pep Guardiola, you know, the 3-1 up, he's just going mad there with the left back for not watching the run, which could have proved costly. It didn't.
He's just gone and slapped his head 3 times for Pep Guardiola in frustration.
He's having a go.
That would hurt.
Wabby Dart, is it? He's having a go. Look, he's saying, how can you not see him running in behind you? I think it's called fatigue.
It's also called frustration.
Frustration.
Even now, when his side are leading by 3-1, he's constantly at Guardiola, who of course is right in the ear of his manager on this near side, the left, as Manchester City play from right to left as we look here on 5 Live. But the points you would think are safe now.
Yeah, I mean, Fulham have given a good account of themselves. You can see why they've had a good start to the season, but probably lack a little bit of belief. You know, they wait for the opposition to. They wait for the opposition, I think, to see what happens before they come into the game. And when you come to a place like this, you've got to be confident.
Well, there's been a sending off, and now there's been a goal at Easter Road. Ailey Barber.
Oh, it's become a bad afternoon for Hibs. Nectar Trianta sent off for a second yellow card, and then just minutes later, Motherwell go ahead. A long throw-in, Andy Halliday capitalising on an absent Hibs defence to just knock it in past Joseph Bursick. It is now Hibs 1, Motherwell 2.
The early result in the Premier League was Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1. Latest scores: Arsenal 2, Southampton 1, Brentford 4, Wolves 2. Leicester still lead Bournemouth by a goal to 0, and West Ham lead Ipswich 4-1. Here Manchester City lead by 3-1 as Burton are down now to 10 men, still without a win and trailing at home to Bristol Rovers by 2-1 in League One. But for Fulham, they need to score 2 goals in the next 5 minutes of normal time. As a cross comes in, Gundogan hasn't dealt with it. Muniz was there, headed out by Ruben Dias. Talking of records that Manchester City have created, they've also created an unwanted record today, because they've actually equalled a club Premier League record of failing to keep a clean sheet in 8 consecutive home games. Last time they did that was 9 years ago under Manuel Pellegrini. Barrow 2, Cheltenham 1 is the latest score in League 2. 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app, and also on the World Service as Smith Rowe. Nice little footwork away from 2 City players. Smith Rowe to the edge of the D, tries to wriggle his way through, but in the end it was Lewis who's cleared the ball away. And we'll get another update from Brentford with Will Perry.
Brentford 4, Wolves 2, 6 goals in the first half, none in the second. Lamina's effort from 20 yards pushed over the bar by Flecken, and Sharda 1-on-1, should have squared to Mbomo, went alone, denied by Johnston, who's keeping this respectable-ish for Wolves. Brentford 4, Wolves 2.
Salford City lead AFC Wimbledon by a 1-0 in League 2 as Lukic forward for Fulham to Smith Rowe. The little flick inside didn't quite come off for Muniz as Doku gets away from 2 Fulham players, passes the ball forward. Haaland is onto it, up against Bassey. Haaland comes onto his right foot, passes the ball to Bernardo Silva, and he shoots tamely straight at Leno. Goal at Vicarage Road in the Championship, Charlie Slater.
Watford have turned it around. 87 on the clock. It's Watford 2, Middlesbrough 1. Another substitute, this time Kwadwo Bar. Long throwing, fell to him 6 yards out, right foot onto the volley, into the back of the net, and Watford lead Borough 2-1.
Despite being to 10 men, Dundee have got a second goal at home to Kilmarnock. 2-0 they lead in the Scottish Premiership, as there's been a goal at Home Park. Plymouth Blackburn, John Akers.
An equaliser for Blackburn. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 1, and Wayne Rooney's been sent off in the aftermath. It was Rankin Costello with the goal. Rooney felt that Hardy was fouled in the build-up, and he's off, coat off, down the tunnel. Plymouth 1, Blackburn 1.
Fulham trailing by 3-1. Kearney, central position midway through the Manchester City half as Mateus Nunes waits to come on for Pep Guardiola's side. And they would moved within a point of the leaders Liverpool. Gundogan with the player coming off. Kearney turns, finds Smith Rowe. Out it goes now to Nelson. Nelson, low ball in. Muniz gets the snapshot away. Fulham get a goal back. Manchester City 3, Fulham 2. Late hope for Fulham.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose, but you've got to say, you know, they could have scored 4 or 5 goals here today, which you don't normally talk about anybody coming here getting them chances. I mean, that was a simple goal. I mean, it's good possession again, which Fulham have done in the second half. They've kept the ball very, very well. And it just comes into Nunes, and he just nobody's near him. John Stones and Kyle Walker just back off him. John Stones is 3-4 yards away. And that's an absolute easy finish for Nunes.
Well, Haaland is... No, it's Gundogan who's coming off. Haaland has just trudged across to this near side. This could be a case for Marco Silva of wondering a case of what might have been for Fulham.
I'd be disappointed. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what he says. Yes, he'd say Man City are good and they dominated the first 20 minutes. You've got to say that. But the amount of chances Fulham have created, and good chances. I'm not just talking about chances where you think, oh, you know, 50-50 chance. These are chances which they should have scored.
So, Manchester City lead by 3-2. It was Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. There's been another goal. John Southall.
And it's now game over. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. On the break, Bukayo Saka just latched onto a loose ball and finished it off into the bottom left-hand corner. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1.
Will it be a case of as you were? Will Arsenal and Manchester City respond to that Liverpool win and both go on to 17 points? Or is there to be a sting in the tail here, with Fulham now reducing the arrears as Morecambe have got a goal back in that basement clash at the other end of the English system? At the bottom of League 2, Accrington 2, Morecambe 1. No other goals elsewhere to tell you about. Manchester City, though, have got a free kick on this near side, the left, and it was interesting there that Ruben Dias has actually just said to a number of Manchester City players, do not go forward, get everybody back because of Adama Traore's pace. So you've got Ruben Dias, John Stones and Gvardiol all keeping an eye on Adama Traore. And we're going to have 5 minutes of added on time, which we are now into. 5 minutes of stoppage time here at the Etihad on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and BBC Sounds. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1, Brentford 4, Wolves 2, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0, West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. Lots of goals to see on Match of the Day tonight at 10:30. Out of play it goes. Manchester City will get a throw down by the corner flag on this near side.
Well, just run the clock down. This has been a very difficult game for Manchester City.
Kilmarnock against the 10 men have got a goal back. Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Spinning the ball in his right hand like a Harlem Globetrotter is Bernardo Silva as he waits to take this throw. Biding his time to Haaland down by the corner flag, to Doku, who got that third goal just when we thought that maybe he'd secured the 3 points. Fulham battling away. I mean, it's going back some time now when they last won against Manchester City. 2009, a couple of goals from Clint Dempsey and second half comeback and a 3-1 win. 22 games since. We've seen 5 goals here today. It is that losing sequence going to be extended to 17 consecutive defeats, the longest in English history. As the ball is forward, Nelson rides the challenge, helps it out to Kearney. Fulham come forward now towards Traore, and Traore enters the penalty area, looks towards Muniz, turn behind, corner kick for Fulham.
They've done that well today, haven't they? When they have broke well, I mean, they've passed the ball ever so well, and they've got players, especially Traore today, very, very dangerous.
Well, they've equalled their highest points tally of a Premier League start to a season with 11. After the 6 games, they arrived here, indeed, inside the top 6. They've had the chances to have taken something from it. They might still take something from it. MK Dons 1, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League 2. Corner kick for Fulham. Right-hand side, Anderson gets his head onto it, but it's off target, it's looping, and it will go out of play. As Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 2, so Kilmarnock have taken advantage of that extra man. The home side down to 10 men have squandered a 2-goal lead. Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 2, and there's been a late goal. It's at Brentford. Will Perry.
Brentford 5, Wolves 2. It's Carvalho, the substitute, who's tucked it past Johnston. It's been a miserable afternoon for Wolves. A mix-up in the box with Craig Dawson, but it's Carvalho who makes it 5. Brentford 5, Wolves 2.
Wolves still rooted to the bottom of the Premier League and yet to win. Edison's going to get a yellow card here for time wasting.
Yep, and he's took the free kick from the wrong place. battling him to take it back from the goal line, which he should have, and he's got himself a yellow card.
Guardiola puts his hand on the shoulder of the fourth official, sarcastically applauds, and I wonder if this is going to be a yellow card to Pep Guardiola. And he continues to sarcastically nod, and then has a word with the fourth official, and the Manchester City manager is now shown a yellow card. Sheffield United have beaten Luton Town by 2-0. They move level with Sunderland on 19 points at the top of the Championship as Anderson clears it away downfield. Manchester City lead by 3-2. Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. Here is Doku. Brentford 5, Wolves 2. Leicester still lead Bournemouth by 1-0. West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. As much live reaction on its way into Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5, before Newcastle-Everton as our next commentary at 5:30, and then it's 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. And by my watch, we've got about 70 seconds remaining of added on time. There are 2 balls on the pitch. There's got to be, throw's got to be retaken. Bernardo Silva, I think, has just been shown a yellow card for delaying the restart.
Well, they went to get the ball and he threw another ball onto the pitch, so he's got himself a silly yellow card.
That's 3 yellow cards to the home side in a matter of a couple of minutes. Here is Kearney for Fulham, holds off Bernardo Silva. Anderson passes the ball out wide left for Robinson. This has got to be the last bit of action, but Robinson gives it away to Rico Lewis. Lewis with the interception runs forward on that right hand side. Fulham try and get it back. Foul by Nelson. Rico Lewis has had a very good game for Manchester City.
You know what, he goes to one of them players he's unnoticed in. He doesn't really do anything fancy, tricky. He grafts and he plays, he's very disciplined. He plays the role Guardiola probably asks him to play, and he does it well.
The full-time scores are coming in. Derby County's losing run is over. They've beaten Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. Manchester City have got a throw over on that far side. All the results and the reaction on its way. Don't go anywhere on this Saturday afternoon. The 5 minutes of minimum is up now. Manchester City lead by 3-2. Fulham, though, have got a throw deep inside their own half. I'm not too sure how much time there will be allowed to take this. Another goal at Brentford, Will Perry.
Brentford 5, Wolves 3. They've got another one back in stoppage time. Ryan Aït-Nouri bursting into the box. Avoidable from a Brentford point of view. It's gone through Flecken who too easily, but Aït-Nouri's got one back for Wolves. Brentford 5, Wolves 3.
And there is the full-time whistle, and Manchester City are undefeated in 50 home games with what is a 17th straight win against Fulham. But Fulham will regret the chances that they squandered.
Totally agree with Ian. Fulham turned up. I thought they were just going to park the bus and grab to anything they could, but they grew in confidence in the game. I've got to say they'll feel very unlucky leaving this stadium without getting a point at least. So, yeah, I mean, Man City look a little bit leggy. I know it's a big fixture play, look which teams are playing now. But it's going to be a long season for City. But Fulham look very promising. If they carry this on, might kind of finish top half.
Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2 is the latest score. Burton 1, Bristol Rovers 3. You're up to date as it's finished full time at the Etihad. Manchester City 3, Fulham 2.